Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? New Orleans Saints hit the practice field for OTAs on Thursday. This was different for two reasons. Number one, media was allowed to attend, so the first media availability of OTAs. And also different because Jake Haener wasn't there. Adam Schefter reported early on Thursday morning, Saints quarterback Jake Haener, noting part of a three-way quarterback competition to become the starting quarterback, suffered an oblique strain at the end of Wednesday's practice, now expected to miss, quote, a couple of weeks, per league sources. He notes Haener likely will miss the remainder of OTAs, expected to be ready for the start of training camp. So one note there from Schefter. He also added about Haener that he was injured, Haener was, while throwing extra passes after practice. Noted that after getting hurt, Haener underwent the MRI, revealed a strain, no oblique tear. That's the good news, so surgery not needed. But notes that the Saints now might have seen the last of Haener in action until training camp. So I don't want to overstate this. It's a strain, not going to require surgery. He'll be ready for training camp. So a lot of things that are good. Overall, though, bad. There's a few things, probably three takeaways. Number one, let's go back to California last year at the start of Saints training camp. And on the first day of camp, Kendre Miller went out there, pulled his hammy, and we crushed him. Didn't we? We crushed him. And the narrative is, soft tissue, you can control that. Look, you rupture an Achilles, someone rolls up on your ankle, you have an unfortunate non-contact knee injury. Like, those are things that happen in a violent sport that sometimes are just bad luck. Soft tissue indicates you weren't ready. You weren't stretched properly. You weren't warmed up properly. Whatever the case may be, we crushed Kendre Miller for this last year. I think we got to point the finger a little at Jake Haener to go, I mean, this isn't one of those things like where you were rotating, got hit, tore a muscle. Like, you strained your oblique throwing balls in OTAs. He's got to take some blame for that at a time where all these reps for these quarterbacks are invaluable. I mean, you're trying to figure out what the future of your organization is going to be. That's number one. The next very obvious thing here is this probably means more of an opportunity for Hunter Dekkers. That's the undrafted free agent out of Iowa State who we talked about last week. He got a tryout in rookie minicamp, and they gave him a contract. So now you needed somebody to replace Derek Carr. Now, I'm not saying that Dekkers is replacing Derek Carr. What I'm saying is you needed a body, right? Like Shuck, Rattler, Haener, all took a step up. Like, they all moved up a chair. Well, now you had an empty chair at the end of the line. You had to fill that, so that's why you signed Hunter Dekkers, because you need, as they're referred to, camp arms. Like, you can't have two or three guys throwing every single pass. You need guys that can run drills and throw passes to DBs and interception drills and all different kinds of stuff. So now, with Haener out, Hunter Dekkers gets more reps. He moves up a chair. And I'm not trying to oversell you on that guy, but he is interesting. That was a four-star prospect, highly recruited, went to Iowa State, was a 3,000-yard passer, lost his eligibility because he bet $15 on a game when he was a sophomore, goes JUCO, has a great year at JUCO, and again, I'm just not ruling anything out at this point because nothing's a sure thing. We saw Spencer Rattler last year, and there's some upside, but it wasn't great. And Tyler Shuck, you might have used the 40th pick on him. Okay. I mean, the Bears used the second pick on Mitchell Trubisky. What's your point? Like, if you think that Tyler Shuck is the answer because you used a draft pick on him, doesn't always play that way. So, just an opportunity for another guy. And now I'm curious, I guess the third thing is, do they add another camp arm? Because keep in mind the schedule here. You're at OTAs this week. You're back at it next week on the 27th, 29th, and 30th for another 3 days of OTAs. Then you have OTAs on June 2nd, 4th, and 5th. And then minicamp, the mandatory minicamp, is June 10th, 11th, 12th. So the next 3 weeks, you've got on-field work. Do you need another quarterback? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you can roll out there with the 3 you got for what you're trying to accomplish right now. And they expect Haener to be ready for training camp, as Schefter reported. But something worth following away and keeping an eye on, like, do they add another body? Jake Haener very much feels like the guy that is outside looking in. It's hard to imagine that New Orleans, when Carr was around, they weren't going to keep 4. There's a legitimate question of whether or not they keep 3. If it's Shuck, Rattler, that's obvious. You try to stash Haener on the practice squad. That would be a preferred solution. But what if you add a veteran, which is something that I have pounded the table for a while now. Even if it's not to be a starter, a veteran that can just be a veteran voice presence sounding board in the quarterback room. Remember when Drew Brees got here to New Orleans? Do you remember who they brought in as his backup? It was Mark Brunell. Mark Brunell wasn't going to threaten Drew Brees' job, but Brees was 26 years old. He had Flutie as a sort of a sounding board confidant in San Diego. Brunell had been a franchise quarterback in Jacksonville, got the Jags to the AFC Championship game, was a longtime starter, and Brees used him as a resource, even when he came off the field. Just what did you see? Like, all those reasons I keep saying, I think New Orleans should add a veteran quarterback to this room. And if that happens, like, you're not going to keep 4, which means very likely Haener or Rattler, odd man out, and Haener continues to get knocked down notches on that ladder. And this certainly doesn't help, suffering this oblique injury here at the start of OTAs, and very likely now missing the remainder of OTAs. When you're working, and again, like, it's a new head coach, it's a new offense, it's new terminology. There's so much new that missing any reps at all is significant when you're in a quarterback battle. And even for Haener, if it's not to win the starting job, if it's to make the team, this does put him at a little bit of a deficiency. So we'll continue to watch how this goes, but it's a tough break there for, I guess, figuratively, not literally, didn't break anything. It's a tough strain there, literally, for Jake Haener. Oblique strain, he'll miss the remainder of the offseason work. He'll be there he'll be back on the field, projected for the start of training camp. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.